Welcome, history enthusiasts and seekers of knowledge, to another captivating journey through the corridors of time. Today, we dive deep into the mind of one of the most brilliant and controversial figures of the French Enlightenment. We are going to explore a complex and highly debated chapter in intellectual history, the profound critiques leveled by the great philosopher Voltaire against religion, and specifically his bold accusations against Prophet Muhammad and the dawn of Islam. Settle in, as this is a story not just of historical critique, but of the fierce struggle for freedom of thought in a world dominated by absolute authority. To truly understand this narrative, we must first understand the man himself. Born François-Marie Arouet in 1694, the man who would become known to the world as Voltaire was a titanic force of the 18th century European Enlightenment. He was a philosopher, playwright, poet, and historian whose razor-sharp wit and satirical genius earned him both immense fame and dangerous enemies. Above all, Voltaire was a staunch defender of civil liberties, freedom of expression, and human dignity. A common misconception paints Voltaire as an atheist, but in reality he was a staunch deist. He marveled at the beauty of the universe and believed deeply in a creator, yet he fiercely opposed the oppressive grip of the clergy. He despised how religious institutions monopolized the interpretation of faith and fueled sectarian fanaticism that historically drowned humanity in blood. In his renowned philosophical dictionary, Voltaire masterfully illustrated his vision of religion through a striking allegory. He imagined a genie taking him on a profound journey, first showing him mountains of human skulls and bones reaching toward the heavens, the grim toll of religious wars and intolerance. The genie then introduced him to the spirits of Socrates and Jesus Christ. Socrates explained he was executed simply for teaching monotheism and rejecting the worship of the sun and moon, while Jesus lamented that he was crucified merely for asking people to love God and their neighbors. Through these encounters, Voltaire solidified his core belief: true religion must foster love, tolerance, and brotherhood, rather than expanding its reach through violence and the sword. It is from this philosophical foundation that Voltaire launched his scathing critique of Islam and its founder in his controversial play. For Voltaire, the historical spread of Islam presented a stark contrast to his ideals of peaceful faith. He leveled several severe accusations against the prophet, arguing first that the rapid spread of the religion was merely the result of the ignorant, superstitious, and highly emotional environment of the pre-Islamic era, which made it easy for a charismatic leader to claim divine revelation. Furthermore, Voltaire dismissed the sacred texts as lacking originality, alleging they were riddled with scientific and historical inaccuracies rather than divine wisdom. His critiques grew even more personal and intense as he analyzed the prophet's character. Voltaire accused him of being driven by deep-seated personal desires, pointing to his marriages as evidence of psychological impulses rather than divine mandate. He also painted a picture of a leader obsessed with power, warfare, and wealth. By highlighting the prophet's alleged fondness for the spoils of war and his historical statements about finding sustenance under the shade of his spear, Voltaire characterized him more as a bloodthirsty conqueror than a messenger of peace. To Voltaire, the very concepts of religious conquest, holy war, and forcing populations to choose between conversion, taxation, or death were inherently barbaric and completely incompatible with true divine revelation. Yet, to read Voltaire's critiques solely at face value is to miss the brilliant, albeit cynical, political maneuvering behind his words. During the time he wrote this play, Voltaire was engaged in a fierce intellectual battle with the absolute authority of the Catholic Church in Europe. His scathing portrayal of Islam was, in many ways, a heavily veiled satirical attack on his own society. He even sent a letter to Pope Benedict XIV, ostensibly to present his play about the Islamic prophet. In reality, Voltaire was taunting the Pope. By describing a leader who, despite his alleged flaws, possessed the formidable strength and wisdom to absolutely control his followers, Voltaire was subtly highlighting the Pope's own weakness and inability to rein in the corrupt Catholic clergy of his time. It was a masterful, provocative riddle designed to expose the hypocrisy and fragility of the religious institutions dominating Europe. Beyond his critiques of religion, Voltaire left us a treasure trove of wisdom that continues to resonate today. He championed the absolute right to freedom of speech, famously embodying the sentiment that even if he entirely disagreed with what a person said, he would passionately defend their right to say it without fear of being labeled a heretic. He believed that recognizing one's own ignorance was the truest path to wisdom, observing that a cleric or scholar who claims to have an answer for every single question is fundamentally ignorant. To Voltaire, a person's true intellect was revealed not by the answers they gave, but by the depth and nature of the questions they asked. He understood the human condition intimately, noting that a long-lasting dispute usually means both sides are wrong, and that without the profound blessing of forgetfulness, humanity would never be able to heal and start anew. As we reflect on Voltaire's life, his relentless pursuit of truth, and his unapologetic critiques, we are reminded of the enduring power of questioning the world around us. Whether you agree or disagree with his bold perspectives on history and faith, his legacy forces us to examine our own beliefs and the societal structures that shape them. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating exploration of history and philosophy. If you found this intellectual journey thought-provoking, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video. We would love to hear your thoughts and perspectives on Voltaire's Accusations and his philosophical worldview in the comments below. Until our next historical adventure, keep questioning and keep seeking the truth.